Yeah, thank you very much, and I will try to to be as quick as possible. But let me add that in terms of advocacy, I represent central government more or less as minister, but I think it's important for participants to also note that I served on, a district assembly, which is a devolved, assemblies in Ghana for about 8 years as a government appointee and chaired some of the committees. So I have some insight also into some of the issues being discussed. My focus will be on fiscal decentralization. And I think it's important what you said, that PFM is the core, of everything. First of all, there is very little tax assignment. I think that's the first point we have to note in terms of subnational governments of the major taxes, in particularly in English-speaking West Africa, and that reflects the UK system. The basis has always been property taxes, but I always say that if you take Ghana's GET Fund, District Assemblies Common Fund, DACF as we call it, and the allocation of minimum of 5% to district assemblies, this is far in excess of any assignment that would have been made in terms of income tax or, or VAT for that matter, sales tax, which, they will be struggling, to collect. So I think we come to the, so we can say that in terms of budgetary allocation, there is significant flows that are going as the Uganda experience also shows. But what may be lacking, or let me also point to two things. First of all, we must also note when it comes to capital, that most of capital is on central government, and it is linked to borrowing, and it's linked to debt, national debt. And I think that we should have that perspective when we look at, because capital expenditure is dwindling, not just for district assemblies or for subnational governments. It is dwindling for the central government itself, as a result of, for example, crisis and other issues. So I think a broader PFM perspective is required, in discussing some of this. And I'm glad that you mentioned, PFM, because when you look at GIFMIS, you look at performance-based budgeting, the two discussions are focused on service delivery, right? But if you look at PBB in particular, performance-based budgeting or program-based budgeting, it has all the elements of monitoring service delivery. So the question is the coordination. I recall when we were doing the IFMIS, at a point we had to stop, at the central government level, because we wanted the district assemblies to use the chart of accounts, which has source of funds classification. It has the economic and functional classification, and it has, the natural accounts, which if devolved to the district assemblies will enable not just central government, but will enable the assemblies themselves to monitor, again, not just their revenue, but also in terms of service delivery, the central government budget significantly goes to, assembly areas, to SNG areas, take education and health, teachers, so in terms of service delivery, teachers, nurses, doctors, what is the role of the assembly when you devolve these departments, and I submit that strengthening IFMIS platforms and others, will be helpful in this, endeavor. And therefore, I think the synergies, that should exist are the ones that are often lacking. And sometimes there seems to be a certain adversarial relations which shouldn't exist. It should be one of synergy. Decentralization shouldn't result, in that kind of thinking, at all. Now, if I may, given the limited time, maybe question time, we could go over some of these things. And so when you take hospital administration, you face the same thing. But I think the discussions are missing also one thing, rural versus urban. The capacity for local or SNG administration in the cities, our capitals, are significant. And yet you see a lot of when you talk about resources going to poverty and the rest, they also happen, yes, they have, deep inner city needs and the rest, but their capacity to collect, for example, commercial property rates, right? which could often be linked, as is being advocated in Ghana. And I listened to the presentation of Ghana. Ghana Revenue Authorities, coverage of the same sector for rent tax could bring in a lot of synergy. It shouldn't be adversarial at all, so that you could use the same platform, the same tax identification number for the businesses that have the commercial property, even the residential properties that are coming up now, could be linked and therefore then strengthened. And if you're able to do that, there hasn't been any single mention. I've been listening, since, the beginning of this, except for the French part of it. No mention of borrowing abilities, municipal bonds. They are non-existent in sub-Saharan Africa. Are some of our cities capable in terms of ring-fencing some of the earmark funds that is going to them, to borrow, so that it's a backstop, so that it doesn't become a quasi-fiscal, risk to the central government? Are they able to beef up property taxes, given the, the growing cities that we have from Accra to Kampala to all those places, so that you could also look through some of this. When you come to management, TSA, and cash management in PFM, if you have it well organized and all government accounts, including district assembly funds, are put on an IFMIT platform on TSA and on this, I believe that we could have better, let me mention two things and then I will. It's a worry when you have significant donor resources not going through the budget. But it shouldn't be so. And the reason I say this is that if you put it on an IFMIT platform, the source of funds will be clear. The allocation of the funds will be clear, and it will enhance monitoring, right? So again, I'm back to your point, Jamie, in terms of PFM platforms, making them as solid, as possible for these things. Finally, on a bit of political economy and going back from some of the past presentations and one that was alluded in terms of political economy. Yes, we may promote elections, but as in Ghana's case, as was mentioned, one of the dilemmas which, was implied in the presentation by the local government, head of local government's school in studies in Ghana, sorry, I forget the name of it, is where you have strongholds, right? As he indicated, two strong political strongholds, which is reminiscent in many African countries in terms of political parties. If you take elections to the extreme, you are bound to deprive, representation by minority parties in the strongholds, and representation, therefore, what they perceive to be their representation when their government is in power, not on account of they bringing the votes, but other strongholds bringing the votes, and so they feel a part that this is our MCE, our chief executive and all that. So that is what is bringing, the dilemma. It's a real political, it's a pragmatic issue, and I think we should look at these issues in terms of, the pragmatic and the reality, of the politics of a country, and we would probably be coming to better conclusions, and as with everything politics, coming to a middle ground and finding a middle ground, to discuss. But I'll pause at this stage. I believe I've exceeded the 5 minutes already, and then during question time, if there are, other things we can discuss. Thank you.